get it in time. Damn it. Wanted to have that up before it showed all of us, but I think I missed it for like a split second. Anyway, we back. We back. Took a little week-long hiatus. It was somewhat of a international break for us over here at the same old Arsenal USA. But lots to get to tonight. Big win against Aston Villa 2 weeks ago. Another big win at the King Power this past Saturday morning at the absolute ass crack of dawn here on the East Coast. So it wasn't even dawn for Stan. Yeah, lots to get to. We're all in a pretty good mood, I think, but we'll find out straight after this. How's it? Welcome to another episode of the same old Arsenal USA. We were gone last week, and I would be remiss if I did not mention Glenn, conspicuous by his absence, of course. But Glenn's mother sadly passed away last week. So, Glenn, if you're watching, if you do catch us, we are thinking of you, my friend. The invitation will be sent if you would like to join the show, but certainly understand if you still need some time. So I think I speak for all of us here when I say that our thoughts, our condolences, and our deepest sympathies are with you and your family. We are all here for you 100%. And reach out to any one of us if you need. We miss you. We love you. And we look forward to having you back on the panel with us just as soon as you are ready, my friend. So please take good care of yourself and your family at this time. We're all thinking of you. So hopefully the Arsenal has given everyone a little reason to smile, though, here recently. Ryan's over there looking like a thief in the night with his hood up. But how are you, by the way, Ryan? Are you nervous yet?
No, I'm not. Good. All things considered, everything's going well. I can't really complain. I will say I've been really bad with this, but I did pretty well. Beer of the week. Simple yet elegant. Great day IPA, because it was a great day. For me anyways, because I know some people took this as a negative, but that's positive. Obviously, us beating Leicester was great. Brighton and Liverpool drawing, Man City losing to Crystal Palace 2-0, and the Scum getting battered 3-0 to Man U. Anything could happen, and it's good to see. We're doing something here. I don't want to say I'm trusting the process, but there is something going on. I like what I see. And it's awesome. And you still see teams like Liverpool and Man City, who I, funny enough, previously said they're kind of in a league of their own, but they're beatable. And yes, I do despise Man U more than I do Tottenham. I know, shocked. But I actually was happy for that result because, A, it meant Ole wouldn't get sacked. He'd still be in charge. And you're still knocking down a big rival and taking 3 points from them. So I was actually very happy with the 3-0 result. And I know we'll get into this more, but I don't want to say I'm happy the Scum got Conte, but I'm happy it was them and not Man U.
Interesting. We'll get into that a little later. But anyway, Rowan,
cheers, Glenn. How are you, sir? For you, buddy.
I'm doing well. First of all, condolences to Glenn and his family. We're all with you, brother. So that out of the way, Arsenal is on a roll. We're unbeaten in I don't know how many, 6 or something Premier League matches. I think it might be 7, right? Because we lost the first 3, and then since then we haven't lost. So, good times. We've been playing some better football as well, which we've been calling for. And like Ryan said, I'd be more happy if it was a draw, so that neither one of them would have got the sack, and both of them would have dropped points. I would have liked that, but that didn't happen. And I agree with Ryan. Conte at United would have been a different animal compared to Spurs. So yeah, let's look forward to it. One more great manager added. As you know, I was all in for him, and so I was told by many Arsenal fans that he'd never consider Arsenal because we don't have the budget and we don't have this and we don't have that. So either these Arsenal fans don't know what they're talking about, or they think that the scum are bigger than us, that he chose to go there. So all of this, there's lots to unpack, and I'm looking forward to it.
The only thing I will say, I'd rather Man U win than a draw because, yeah, you're right. I think in the grand scheme of things, a draw is better. But I think if they drew, I think Ole would be in the hot seat because Man U should be putting Tottenham away. They are a bad team. And I think even with Conte coming in, they may have a slight manager bounce. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the next few games, but they're just not a good team. And I think drawing against that team, Man U, I think Ole would still be in the hot seat. At least this buys him a little more time. I want to give him as much time. Ole at the wheel, and let's drive forward with it.
Stan, before Ryan interrupted me.
Hello.
No, I'm kidding. How are you, man?
I'm really good, to be honest. Obviously, first of all, thoughts going out to Glenn and his family at this time, like everybody said. I hope you're back soon with us, mate. But yeah, I'm not bad. Monday, I was back at school for the first time in many, many years, doing some voiceover coaching classes, which is going to take up some time. So that was quite different. And I've had a few bits and pieces of work over the last couple of weeks. I've been on set a couple of times, so that's been quite cool. Got a job tomorrow with Hilary Swank.
Ooh,
so I'm going to
swanky.
Be doing something with an Oscar winner tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. And looking forward to chatting with everybody about what's happening at Arsenal and, as the lads touched on, what's happening over at our noisy neighbours. But unlike Ryan, who's got his beer of the week, I've actually got my snack of the week, and this is something that the missus brought home from the supermarket. And these are, if you can see them, these are the Notorious B.I.G. potato chips or crisps, and these are honey and jalapeno flavour. I think they missed a treat. They should have called them Mo Honey, Mo Jalapeno. As the
Well done.
I said to the missus as well, I said, did you not ask the lady in the store if we got a discount for buying 2 packs? But,
Ooh,
hey,
good one.
Try,
I
right?
love it.
Gotta try, right?
I don't think you got that. I don't think you got that joke, Tanner. I don't. 2 packs, Tupac. No, all right. Well, whatever.
Tupac.
Nah, I don't think you got it. I don't think you got it. I don't think you got it.
All right. Anyway, I guess let's just start with the Conte news. Ryan and Ro, you guys both kind of hit on it. Stan, what let's just get this. This is the elephant in the room right now. So let's get this out of the way. Just
can I come back because I've got someone knocking at my door?
Yeah, go.
Who it is? I don't know. I'll be right back.
All right.
I thought he said someone looking at his door. I'm like, that's a little weird, but yeah, I guess.
I just don't think they're a good team, like you said, Ryan. I don't know what is Conte going to do with this team between now and the January transfer window, and even come January. What are they going to do? They'll get a new manager bounce. I don't even know who they play next, to be honest with you.
Check right now.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up here and see if I can.
They play West Ham or something.
No, Everton.
Everton at Goodison Park.
That's jeez.
Everton has lost 4 on the bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not playing well either.
They're not playing well. So I you know what? I don't know, man. It just is Conte that good to get a tune out of that bad team? I mean,
don't forget, and these are 2 different teams, right? But Chelsea had finished 10th the previous season, and he won them the league. He didn't finish in the top 4. He won them the league, right? And I'm not saying that Tottenham are going to win the league, but he's got time to assess his team between now and January, try to patch things up. I think with him, if he can get Kane on side, they can finish in the top 6, and then next season can be a good overhaul for them. But I don't care about them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Also, Chelsea were like they finished 10th, but I think it was more because Jose Mourinho was at the wheel and he was just really bad because they had a good team. Tottenham are not a good team right now. Chelsea, when they finished 10th, they had Hazard, they had pieces.
Oh yeah, the season before finishing 10th, they had won the league, so they were a better team.
Exactly,
which is why I'm not saying that he's going to win the league with them.
But
but he can finish in the top 6, right? Given that Nuno's got sacked and Spurs are like just 2 points behind us, right? It's not like they're 12 points behind us or something.
Right.
Just 2 points behind us. They lost 5. They won 5. I know a lot of teams. For example, during the Leicester Arsenal game, they were saying that in the last 14 home games that Leicester has played, they've won 7 and they've lost 7, right? So that's the sort of form. It was uninspiring, etc. That's why he's got the sack. Very good for them. We have another chance to laugh at them. But Conte is man for man. We have to put our hands up and he's better than Arteta.
Well, yeah.
Right now he is.
I mean, I think that you look at how bad that team is. I mean, if you don't have the talent to line up with the likes of United, which not look, I'll say this. I mean, on paper, there aren't many teams in the league that have on paper the talent to line up with United. They're like, I don't know that Solskjaer lasts till Christmas. I really don't. But Stan, I'm curious. Go ahead with, where do you come down on the Conte? Are you worried? Is it like, are you jealous, or are you, what? We can't control what that lot do. Let's focus on what we do, and let's just play our game.
Well, my highlight so far about this whole situation has to be, and I only saw it about maybe 20 minutes before we come on air, and that was this, Tottenham welcoming Conte to the club. So you got him standing there on the official site, holding up the jersey, right? And above it, it just says in big capital letters, "Bienvenido, Antonio Conte." So what Tottenham have actually gone and done there, right? They're welcoming in their Italian manager in Spanish.
Yeah, well, yeah. Right? What is it?
Bienvenido is welcome in Spanish. It's not even a close word in Italian. It doesn't match. It's not like one letter. So
no, it's like benvenuti or something in Italian, isn't it?
I don't know what it. Yeah, I don't know what it's not. Bienvenido. But
no, that's definitely not bienvenido. Yeah, it's like bienvenuti or something.
I was like, so this is how it all begins. Right. Any clue of how this is going to go? There's the first fucking clue, right? They don't even get the language right.
Benvenuto.
Go ahead, Stan. I'm sorry.
Let's pull it all the way back to last year, before even Nuno was appointed. Nuno was way down the list. My nan, they contacted my nan before they contacted Nuno for the Tottenham job, right? And that was after they'd already tried to lift their skirt with Conte, and he said no. And I heard someone saying that one of the reasons that he said no was that the money wasn't right. And as I understand that to be the money that was going to be going into his pocket, his salary, not what he was going to be spending. So 3 months into Nuno's reign, they give him the old Spanish archer. I mean, it was never going to be a match made in heaven, because there's always going to be a bit of a feeling when you know that I wasn't their first choice, I wasn't even their second, third, fourth, or fifth choice. So there's always that hurdle to get over. And I said right at the very beginning that I didn't think that Nuno's style of football would be something that the Tottenham fans would enjoy over a period of time. But on the other side of it, they've been quite decisive. If they feel that this is not the man, they're not into prolonging it.
Yeah.
And you look at someone like Nuno. I mean, Nuno's walking away with about 14 million. I mean, at the minute, you've got more chance becoming like extremely wealthy, being the Spurs manager, than you have if you put all of your fucking everything you've got into Bitcoin right now. Do you know what I mean? It's a far better return to do 3 months as Spurs manager by the looks of it. Am I worried when I heard that Conte was announced? There's a part of me that wants to be cynical and say that if you're Conte and you've turned them down and you believe that, let's say the story's true, that they've come to you with what you believe to be a derisory offer for your services, and then it all goes pear-shaped after 3 months and they come back to you again. I don't know about you, but my price has gone up since the first meeting. You know what I mean? What was maybe 18 million last time, and he was only going to give me 8, is now 20. You know, that's the first thing. And there's this part of me being cynical that's like maybe Conte is looking at Tottenham as being in what I would call a holding pattern. Because if his contract is only 18 months, which is what I've been rumoured, with an option, there's an option that goes both ways. That could mean that in the last sort of like 6 months, 8 months of that contract, Antonio could be unhappy. Who knows what's going to be happening at Man United in that time? Because I don't think Ollie's safe. He's a bit jazzy, isn't he, Ollie? He was always about to go, and he managed to pull a result out of the bag that, like, you know, the guillotine gets raised again and he gets put back in his cell before he's beheaded. But at some point, his luck's going to run out. And I've got a feeling that maybe Conte's like in a holding pattern until that role becomes available.
Yeah.
Am I bothered about it? Not really, but I just don't see what he's going to be able to. What the fuck are you going to be able to do with Eric Dyer in 18 months? I'm sorry. It's just, do you know what I mean? He's on a hide into nothing. So,
I mean, he's going to want money to spend. I don't really think they're going to open the coffers for him. I mean, they've got a stadium to pay off. Is there, and this is just purely opinion because none of us know the answer to this question, but do owners just flat out lie to managers and say, sure, come on in here. I'll give you $300 million to spend in the transfer window. You come in, you be my manager. Then the transfer window rolls around and he wants to buy a player for 70 million pounds. And the owner says, that's your whole budget. You really want to spend it? And what's the manager going to do? He's already in. He can't terminate his own contract. He can't, if he walks away from it, he's probably in breach of it. So he ain't going to get paid if he quits. And I mean, I think a lot of these managers get sold a bill of goods on what their, funds that they're going to have available in transfer windows. And they buy in hook, line, and sinker.
It's so interesting because we're an American show. In America, in the professional sports, the coaches seek out the teams, and the coaches have to impress the teams. The teams do the interviews, and when they interview the coaches, they go, "Okay, what's your plan? What do you want to do? What are you going to do with this player? What are you going to do with that player?" Whereas I feel like in the Premier League and probably most of the football abroad, the teams have to impress the managers, and I think it's so interesting because you're right. I'm very curious as to how that meeting went because I don't think Conte was interviewing with the scum and saying, "Oh, this is what I want to do, and this is why you should hire me." And no, I'm sure it was Levy knocking on his door and being like, "All right, whatever you wanted in the summer, I'll double it. We need you. We suck. Please come. Please, please, please."
Well, there is a manager who did a presentation for another club in North London, right?
Apparently he's going to Newcastle.
Exactly. So here's my thing. Like, he's definitely going to get some funds because I don't think they spent big. I don't know what they spent on this summer, and at some point, might be in January, if Kane doesn't start performing, Kane might be gone, right? And that's gonna add like 100 million straight up, right?
Yeah.
He's still worth 100 million, and then you just have to top it up with another 50 or something, which is not big money. So, and then you have 150 million to spend, right? So money will become available because Kane is going.
Well,
Unless
happens,
Conte can do some madness and like turn it around, we don't care. It's better if he goes and all of that. But all in all, I just feel like, I was hoping that we'd get Conte. I'm happy that we have turned it around. As even before joining right now, I was watching the Arsenal Leicester game again, right? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, getting into the quarterfinals and having a favorable draw for the League Cup.
Sunderland, home.
Winning against Aston Villa, who really schooled us last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emi Martinez, him and all his big talk, right? So there's a lot to be happy about with Arsenal, and I'm happy that we've turned around a corner. I want Arteta to succeed. I want him to do well. I like the formation that he's playing. We'll, unpack all of that. But I must, I've got to tip my hat to the fact that Conte is a world-class manager. And the Scum have been decisive. They were decisive with Jose Mourinho. It wasn't working. They let him go. They were decisive with just 10 games in. That's ruthless. That's even more ruthless than Chelsea, I think.
Right? The one thing I want to quickly respond to why not, saying Conte can develop average players, and he named Lukaku, Moses, Willian, and Pedro. Yeah, he had Fabregas, he had Conte, he had Hazard, he had David Luiz when he was good, John Terry, Gary Cahill. And listen, this guy's an absolute cunt, and I hate him, but he had Diego Costa, who's scoring goals for them. He had a good team. And I'm not trying to knock Conte down and saying he's not a good manager. I think he's a great manager, and I think he would be of use to us. Right now, I don't. Shockingly enough, why not? Usually, me and you agree on a lot, but I'd rather have Arteta right now. Am I Arteta in? No, but like I said, something is what's going on, Gary? Something's going on here, and I know I actually said this, and I'm gonna call myself out, and I was a big idiot and I was wrong. I know I said that I think Arteta's done all learning he needs to learn. What more can he learn? I think he's done learning, and I think this is it. I was proved wrong in the Villa game, and I think he is growing with this team, and I just hope that he can grow with the team and not just, because it's a long process, and with your manager growing with your team, it's going to be tough because everybody learns at a different pace. And if the team wants to go up and succeed and he's not there yet, then yeah, things are going to fail. But I don't buy all this Conte turning Chelsea into world beaters like Victor Moses and Lukaku. They had some extreme talent on that team.
I think the thing with Conte is he can do. How do I put this? He does the most with what he has. He can get a tune out of. He's going to get a tune out of this team. But the when he was with Chelsea, the fact is, I mean, he obviously guided them to a title. That was that team's ceiling. That was the what's the word? The potential of that team. They were a good side. What he had to work with there. I don't see the same quality in this Spurs side that was in that Chelsea side. So what he's going to come into here, and look, if you're, I feel like we're doing like just an overall Premier League show right now, but I think if you are a Spurs fan, if you're a Spurs supporter, you need to know your level. And your level, when you look at the rest of the league, your level is somewhere between 5th and 10th, probably. That's their level. So if he gets them to 5th, if he can somehow get them to 5th, that's you can't really. I don't think you can ask much more. Now that's the team as is right now. January that could change. Who knows what's going to happen there? But the team as is right now, a lot of things have to go their way to get 5th.
Yeah,
he's a good enough manager that if those things go their way, he's a good enough manager to get them there.
Yeah.
They're not competing for the title, and I don't really think they're going to compete for top 4. So
it's interesting because I'm very curious as to what he sees in Tottenham, because he usually handpicks his team, and he picks a team that he thinks like, okay, they're like Chelsea, like you have stars. Inter, I know again why not was coming in with Inter. Ashley Young, great, like he's a great Italian. It's the Italian league. It's a step down from the Premier League. It is. Alexis Sanchez can perform, and even he wasn't really up to snuff. But they have Vidal. They had players that can perform. So I'm very curious as to what he sees in Tottenham. Does he? I mean, I don't know. Maybe in his talk with Levy, I think kind of what you were saying, Tanner. Levy was kind of like, "Hey, listen, we're selling Kane. We're gonna have a crap ton of money. So buy whoever the fuck you want. You're gonna have a. I mean, within reason, but
within reason.
Yeah, I think Levy kind of gave him the old song and dance and like, hey, listen, here's all this money. We could do a lot. You're not gonna have Kane, but I don't think he's really worried about Eric Kane, to be fair. But why should you be? But
where do you think he'll deploy Victor Moses in the Tottenham lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I don't know. I'm very curious as to what he sees in this and why he picked this job. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you got to think it's the money, right?
Plays well.
What more could it be? Yeah. He can't realistically look at this, and this is going to be the final word on Antonio Conte.
Probably still got a flat in London.
Yeah, right.
That's fair.
I mean, comes back to a city he already knows. Comes back to a league he already knows. They're offering him a pretty healthy, I would imagine, compensation package, and it's only 18 months, right?
Yeah.
So like kind of like I think Rowan, you were saying, or no, Stan, it was what? So one of you guys said it's only 18 months with an option both ways, and he's just sort of treading water, right? Like just holding pattern until something better comes along.
So it's got to be it, because if you look at his resume from 2011, 2014, Juventus, 2014, 2016, Italy, 2016, 2018, Chelsea, 2019, 2021, Inter Milan, and then it's like Tottenham. It's like such a to me, it's such a drop.
It's a downgrade.
You're like, what do you do? It's like, what are you doing? I don't know.
It's believe it or not, it'd be interesting to know whether the 18 months with the options is something that Tottenham wanted to put in place because they're tired of things not working out and managers having to get paid out, or whether it was something where Conte said, okay, but let's only go with an 18-month contract and let's have another chat after, because he's not really, I'm not saying doesn't really fancy it, but maybe he's got his eyes on a bigger prize.
It would be very interesting, Stan, to know what the dynamic of this whole thing coming together was.
And I just want to say as well, for Tottenham, from what I see of them, I don't think that they're ever going to reach the heights that they want to reach until they make a change with Daniel Levy. I think he's been there a long time now, and they don't really seem to be making any further forward progresses with him in that role. I mean, the last manager that got them to a cup final, they fired him before the final. No matter what you think of the manager, I mean, what a time to unsettle the ship. So for me, that tells me that something was going on that just didn't sit well with Daniel Levy's ego, because he was so stubborn that he had to go now. They couldn't grit their teeth and get on with their jobs until maybe winning a prominent cup. He had to unrest the apple cart then. And if I was the owners of the club, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah. Believe it or not, we actually did play a match on Saturday. We just haven't talked about it yet, but we'll work our way, I guess, backward a little bit. I'm going to go first on this, and I'm going to go first because I want you guys to. I know I'm all but certain the three of you will disagree with everything that I say.
Oh yay!
I was not impressed with. I'll put it this way: we need to get to a point where instead of 60 or 70 minutes, where we seem rather uninterested in doing much with the ball, we go 20 or 30 minutes where we seem uninterested in doing anything with the ball. If not for Aaron Ramsdale, And our defending was great on Saturday. Aaron Ramsdale, my God. But after we scored the second goal, and Leicester just started to warm up to it and started to come on to us, we forgot how to kick a ball accurately. Passing was horrendous. No movement. The rare opportunities that we had for the last 70 or so minutes, Gary says, Tanner, Arsenal won. Sure, Arsenal won. It's not sustainable. It's just not. To play Aston Villa was a totally different game. That was a 90-minute performance. This was a great defensive performance, and that's the positive that I take away from it. But we got the second goal, and then all of a sudden we just, okay, we're good, done. We couldn't pass the ball to save our lives. We couldn't complete a pass to save our lives. You know? And it's just like to sit back and just invite the pressure for literally 60 minutes. 60 minutes, they were up our ass. So that's the negative. And what I'm saying is you look at the here and the now, 2-0 win. And great defending, because we really did play wonderful defense. But we have to score goals.
We did. We scored two. We scored two of them. Not even one. We scored two.
We scored 2 goals, and we looked uninterested and incapable of scoring any more. That's a problem. That's a problem. So is it taking your foot off the gas, which I think it is? And you can't take your foot off the gas at 30 minutes. I just don't think you can do that. I think you have to keep your foot on the gas for at least 60 minutes. You have to look at 60 minutes and say, how many goals can we score in 60 minutes? And if we can get to 5, take your foot off the gas. Good. Put it in cruise control and let's go. We managed the game. Angry Gooner. We managed the game. That's not managing the game. Managing the game is having some possession in the last 60 minutes of the game, which we didn't have. Barely any. That's not managing the game. That's simply sitting back saying, we're comfortable with the 2-0 lead. We're just going to sit back and defend. At that point, with as much time as what was left in the game, I'm not comfortable with that. You want to sit back on a 2-0 lead at 70 minutes, okay. That makes sense to me. But up to that 70 minutes, you say, okay, well, we were at them. We were dangerous. Maybe we didn't score anymore, but we were dangerous. So I'm looking big picture here, and I'm trying to say, you know, you go up 2-0 against a better side, you're doomed if you play like that. The first 30 minutes were phenomenal. Why can't you play like that for 60? Double it. And I'm going to make a bold prediction real quick that our goal differential will come back to haunt us in a very major way at the end of this season. It could be the difference of qualifying for Champions League. It could be the difference between qualifying for Europa League. But it's going to play a massive role in what we do at the end of the season. And games like this, where they're there for the taking, there's blood in the water, and we just kind of swam around it. We're like, we're done. We're kind of that appetizer filled us up. We're good. Take that entree back. Take it off my bill. You know, and I know you guys disagree. Who wants to start? Ryan, you're intentionally not starting.
Good.
So Stan or Rowan, I argue with me, or I don't know. Do you agree with anything that I said at all?
Not really.
Okay.
You say that you're looking at it at a bigger picture, but from where I see it, I think you're looking at a smaller picture, because I think the bigger picture here is that after those first 3 games of the season, we have now gone on to a really good run. Mm-hmm. The problems is that the performances are going to be inconsistent. There'll be times when we'll be able to put together a couple of really good performances, but then there'll be a real duff one and so forth. And I just think that when we have the profile of players that we have, with the average age of players that we seem to be having in our team now, that's going to equal inconsistent performances. But in despite of that, the inconsistent performances that we have, they've not been as worse as what I was expecting, because by hook or by crook, we've been managing to put together a run. Do you know what I mean? We've got more points out of this run than I honestly thought that we would get. And if you remember, I've been sort of like banging on about, that one of my cut-off points for my a bit of judgment on Arteta is the next game, Watford. And I can say now, before that game, that in this run of games, that I think Arteta has done enough for me now to say, okay, we've got to this marker. My next marker for you now is let's see where the team stands around about the second week in February. Once that we've had a January window to see if we're going to continue to strengthen in key places where we are, to see how we handle the African Nations Cup, that's my next marker. I know that you're saying that you feel that it's not sustainable football, but when we have these inconsistencies, we're lucky, it seems, that we're not having everybody being inconsistent on the same day, because we can still have a bad, maybe not a champagne football game, win 2-0, and somebody like Aaron Ramsey can put in a 10 out of 10 performance to keep us out of the shit. And that means that our teammates are beginning to know that they can rely on the guy that's next to them when needed. That you've got a man next to that's going to say, okay, I'm going to take up a little bit more of the slack for this match because you're having a little bit of a stinker. So I feel quite positive about what I'm seeing, and I want to remain positive. And your sentiment, FC love Arsenal, hate Kroenke. I'm extending my judgment now to just after that January window, because I think it's important to see how we're going to continue to improve the squad, especially we're going to have a lot of absences, and then see by February, because that's going to be it then till the summer, we'll know what we've got, and if we feel that we've got an opportunity to get to where we want to be by the end of the season, whether that be the Europa League or, maybe the Champions League.
Rowan?
So, I'm a bit more positive than you. I agree with the fact, and this has been my complaint with Arsenal for a long time. This is what I said even after the Spurs game, that we've got them, 3-0 down. Then why don't we put our foot on their throat and go for the fourth and the fifth, And we don't do that. Arsenal has just not done that. We've raced into 3-0 leads a lot of times, and we just don't seem to do that. This team is incapable right now to do that. That's why Lacazette at 68 minutes needs to come off, things like that, right? But there are positives to take. Yes, Lone Star, there are positives to take, that we'd set a marker for the team, and like Stan said, we're close to reaching that. Now, Crystal Palace beat City 2-0. Now that 1 point looks good, right? That Brentford lost. Brentford they drew with Liverpool, and they gave Chelsea a hell of a game. Now that looks like, it's not acceptable really, but, you can still digest that, right? Brighton played they drew with Liverpool this week. After being 2-0 down, they drew with Liverpool. We drew with them as well, right? So overall, in terms of performance, getting 2-0 leads, although you would say that for the first 30 minutes, Leicester were appalling, right? They were asleep.
Oh, yeah.
This was like Tottenham all over again, when they were asleep and they just let us play. But we put the ball in the net. We were a yard quicker than them for everything in the first 35 minutes. Mm-hmm. We've made it a habit now to start games quickly. Sometimes it doesn't materialize and we fall off, but at least we've tried. in terms of the formation as well, there's a more exciting. I like and I know Stan is also going to say he likes a traditional 4-4-2, right? And this is a take on the 4-4-2. It's not exactly a 4-4-2, but
a 4-4-1-1 of some sort.
It's a 4-4-1-1. Lacazette is a 9.5 in this. That's what's happening. That's the position that he's playing. Either he's going to link up or he comes back, and that's in his skill set. And I think he likes doing that. He likes working for the team.
Yeah,
and he's been great. I watched Match of the Day after that, and they highlighted him as well for that. Defensively, why should defense not be something that we take pride on?
Oh, absolutely.
With Ben White, and
Mm-hmm.
with Gabriel, solid partnership there. And Ramsdale, I'm gonna make this corny joke now. So this week is Diwali, which is the biggest festival in India, where Lord Ram comes back, and this is our Lord Ramsdale. Like this guy is what a guy. Like his save was tremendous. I agree, but his distribution is killer. I mean, it's Edison-like, his distribution. Sometimes he gets a little overconfident and gives the ball away.
Yeah.
But a lot of time he pings the ball through balls, loving it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was one of the people who were cynical about Ramsdale signing. But his distribution really, like every time I see that, I'm just like, wow, what is he doing? Like this is watching him. You understand that Leno really lacked in that department.
Yeah, man.
Leno was a great shot stopper, but he lacked in that department.
It's just a pity that Leno's mute.
He
was mute.
Exactly. So why not have? I mean, Ramsdale is also part of the team, and so he had a 10-on-10 performance, just like Aubameyang can have a 10-on-10 performance. So we need to take pride on the team overall. Keep this run going. It's not been as boring as before. All in all, I'm happy with it. I'm not going overboard. I'm not now. I'm gonna fight for Arteta and be Arteta in.
Right.
But I'm gonna support this team till the time we continue to play like that.
May I just say before we go to Ryan quickly, there's a couple of things there. And it was a little bit like on the commentary that I had here in the zone. When it's like, well, we were playing Tottenham and they're having a shit day. That's Tottenham's fucking problem. Like when we were playing, I think it was Aston Villa, right? The commentary here, they were basically so unhappy that they were basically, it was basically that we were having a lucky day. Usually, if everything was going to plan, this wouldn't have been a problem to Aston Villa. But Aston Villa were having a really bad day, and we just happened to catch them napping. It can't be that we're having a good day. Do you know what I'm getting at?
The commentary was the same on NBC. They were like,
bias. They were, and everything. They were almost when every time like Villa had a shot and we stopped it, you could almost see the commentators going, "Oh." Like they wanted it to go in, and I don't know who the fuck it was. I think none of them might have been that Jem Beglin. It was more the color.
Yeah, you had the same commentary we had here in the US.
Right, it was more the color guy. It was more the color guy than the play-by-play. But the play-by-play was kind of getting in there. I thought it was disgusting. I don't. If a team turns up and they're having a bad day, that's their part. That's their fault. Preparation is all part of it, so we take advantage of that. It doesn't mean that we're any shit for our win.
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Just real quick, Ryan, before you jump in here, yes, I sound negative. Look, I'll put it to you this way: if we can talk about performance after a loss, why can't we talk about performance after a win? And I think both. We had a lot of positives to take away from Saturday. Aaron Ramsdale and everything he's done since he's come in here.
Brilliant.
Emile Smith-Rowe just continuing to show that he really is the linchpin of this team's attack. Alex Lacazette coming back into the side and really kind of turning on the scoring for us and helping getting that going. Defensively, we're becoming a very, very stout side defensively. Ben White is starting to grow into that role now and becoming very vocal at the back, just like Ramsdale is. Gabriel is an absolute man among boys on our back line. There are a ton of positives to take away.
Tavares.
But I look to, Nuno Tavares, come on.
A backup that's actually pushing.
Right, yeah. Like,
nice.
We're going to get to a point where we're going to be like,
that can only be good for that can only be good for Kieran Tierney, right? Keeps a fucking fire under his arse, mate. You know,
this is perfect from Rahul, and you're right. I feel like we switch off and we give them chances. That's actually and it's the performance. Do me if
that youth.
Yeah, if I could say this directly to the players, do me a favor. Instead of giving me the 20 or 30 minutes of brilliance, give me 60 or 70 minutes of brilliance. That's what we need. But all signs are pointing in a positive direction. And overall,
if that's youth though, Tanner, then doesn't that mean that as they continue to educate,
sure, yep,
hopefully
they're going to grow.
The minutes of time that they're able to perform at their optimum will hopefully increase, right?
Sure, yeah. Ryan, put me in my place. The floor is yours, sir.
So it's funny. So I had to fill out stuff for my wedding. Like the officiant sent me like questions to fill out, like what is marriage, what is love, describe your proposal. And I actually proposed on September 1st. Was it 2019? We played Tottenham. We were home at the Emirates, and I was just like trying to relive the day a little bit because I went to the city. We went to the Arsenal bar in the city. I went with a bunch of friends, and I was kind of like typing out like the day and how everything went. And I watched the entire highlights of that game, and it's like night and day. It's watching David Luiz, Socrates, Kolasinac, watching our defense crumble in the first 20 minutes.
You like
the game?
I remember.
Yeah, no, not in 2018. No. But yeah, it was. Yeah, just what like I mean, I don't know how much you guys remember about the game, but their first goal,
2-2 draw.
Yeah, they were up 2-0, and then we came back and we drew. Their first goal by Eriksen was a tap-in because our defense just completely couldn't mark. Blown out of coverage. Socrates tried to head a ball that he couldn't even get anywhere near, and it was out of control and whatever. Leno made a save, couldn't grab it, and Eriksen just said, "Oh, thank you very much." Taps it in, and then Harry Kane's penalty. Xhaka just mauls Son in the box, goes to ground, doesn't come close to getting the ball. Same old Xhaka. Anyways, point is. It's a different team, and it's crazy how much better we've gotten defensively. And I know you said, Tanner, like, oh, we play defense, we switched off, but we're gonna have games that we got to rely on our defense, and to know that they're gonna be there, to know that we have that, I think it's gonna give confidence to the team as a whole, and I really like it. Now, as far as the game, I don't really agree with you. I think you're being a little harsh. I think that they switched up their yes, goals gone. Shout out to Goals Gone Wild. I love it. 10-3 season. But yeah, I'm gonna give Leicester a little credit. I did say they were a bad team. They're playing. They're not playing well. But they have good pieces, and they do. A player who I really like that doesn't get talked about enough, and I know Clive from Arsenal Fan Vision loves him. Harvey Barnes. He came on at halftime. They switched their formation. They would start as back three, and Saka was really knocking on the door. And they switched to a back four. They brought Harvey Barnes on, who was very lethal and really, really put us on our toes and really made us defend. Because in the first half, we kind of pushed them back, but in the second half, they kind of pushed us back. And I think Saka was just too wide in the second half, and I think Harvey Barnes exposed us a little bit. But I think it's a case of like I kind of said in, I think it was our Beards and Cannon show, I'm curious to see this team play when Lacazette doesn't have a good game, because I think Lacazette was the crux of the Villa game, and he was the passion, he was the fire, he was the leadership that we needed to push forward, to win every ball that came even close to an Arsenal player. I don't think Lacazette played that well. I think he was just kind of like there. I don't think he played bad, but he didn't play well. And it was interesting, and I think this is going to probably come under scrutiny, but I think Tavares offensively, I don't think had the best game. I think he made a few good dribbles into their defense, into their final third, but nothing crazy. But yeah, I just think it was a collection of things. I think Tavares was okay. I think Saka in the second half didn't play well because of their formation change. And I think Lacazette was kind of just there. And I think we banded together as a team and saw the game out. And yes, you could thank Ramsdale. Yes, you could thank Gabriel for that. And, and Ben White. And Tavares played well defensively, and obviously Tomiyasu. But I think this shows that we could do this as a team. We could play good defensive football and not play like we played at the Emirates against Tottenham a couple of years ago. And I'm excited. I'm happy. I just hope that we could the team gets the confidence that I'm talking about, and we get more confident from Ramsdale, who was brilliant, by the way, chatting back with the Leicester fans. It was great. He was, and that's what I want to see, is we were having fun. Like, Ramsdale was having fun out there. He was under a lot of pressure. He made, I think, 8 saves. Insane. So I'm excited about it, because we could win a different way, and there's different ways that we can get 3 points. And I'm excited. I'm happy. And Lacazette's not gonna have a bad game every game. Saka's gonna find those spaces when they change formations. It's gonna happen. But I think personally, I think we need to give Leicester a little more credit. They made a formation change. They changed their tactics. Harvey Barnes I think he's one of, if not the most underrated player in the Premier League. And he got to us, and things happen. But we still, with all that being said, we kept a clean sheet. Ramsdale stood on his head. And I mean, yes, he did, but our back four played phenomenal too. So shout out to them. So I'm happy, and I don't think we switched off.
Are we at some point in this show they're going to have like a big circle jerk about Ramsdale? Because I have to.
All right, fuck it, I'll start.
When we were linked with him, right, I was like, "Fucking hell, we're not going to sign a ginger, are we? What the fuck?" Right, I've been proven wrong. Right, I've been proven wrong. But no, seriously, I didn't know much about him. I wasn't looking at the teams he was with. Looking at the money that we were kind of, going to pay out for this for him, it was probably not much difference between what we paid for Leno. And I was always a big Leno fan. I really wanted Leno to come good, and I always felt that what we've paid for him, and you compare it to some of the other keepers that have gone, like the one that they bought at Chelsea for 70 million. I mean, you got to make the comparison there that at one point Leno was like outstripping him, and I was kind of a little bit, even with the Emmy stuff, I was in Leno's camp, but a little bit like Danny Welbeck, Ramsdale's won me over. He just won me over for being who he is, and I like it when that happens. If you're an Arsenal supporter, ask yourself this: when we have a game, are you analysing it and looking at it so that you can find the reasons to get rid of Arteta, or are you looking at it and trying to find the reasons of why we should keep the manager, rather than going for a revolving door and having someone else come in that's going to rip everything up and want to get different players in? It all depends on how you're looking at it. And even though Mikel Arteta wasn't my first choice, I'm trying to be a glass half full guy. And I've got to say, I mean, Edu took a lot of stick over the summer, cooking his barbecue up, fucking on his jet skis with fucking huge cigars hanging out of his fucking face. And everyone's like harassing his son, asking him what his dad's doing. It seems to me that the players that have come in for the 150 odd million that's been spent, it looks like for once that money's been well spent. How many times have we spent, 75 mil on 2 players, and it's turned out they've both been duds? It's been so long since we've had a goalkeeper. For me, and what I like about Ramsdale is he's got a little bit of that Jens Lehmann gene in there, just enough. Ain't got too much, just got the right mixture. And seeing the way that he performs and galvanizes the back, it always felt like before with Leno in goal. Now that I look at it, it kind of felt like the back four were trying to G up Leno. We're trying to keep him alert. Do you know what I mean? Whereas fucking Ramsdale, mate, he doesn't give him a second. I love it. Love it. Brilliant. I'm really glad. One of the best buys that we've spent in a long time.
A little bit of that shithousery that Jens Lehmann had when he played here.
That save he pulled off, the follow up. Not only
even the
follow
let's not
up,
forget
man,
that either.
That's the fucking class right there.
Yep.
The follow up.
Yep.
I think what's great too is, and I kind of said this before, is he has a personality and he's having fun. And I think that's something that we need, because you have someone, like Aubameyang, who has personality, but there's games where he just looks uninterested and he just doesn't want to be there. So I mean, who knows? I mean, if Ramsdale let 1 or 2 in, it obviously could have been a very different story. But I like that we're showing our personality and having fun with it. And it's the one real quick thing I want to say was, the one thing I did want to say is, and this is again, we win. I didn't really like Arteta subs either. I think that was kind of, bringing on Pepe, bringing on Odegaard. But what I will say is, I just think Odegaard's not playing well. I don't think it's Arteta's fault. And I think the Pepe sub, I didn't like it, but I knew what Arteta was trying to do. He was like, okay, we're gonna really pin them back. We're gonna put Pepe on. He's gonna be lethal. He's gonna be dangerous. We're gonna give him another concern or worry. And it didn't work. But I understood it, and it could have gone the complete other way. And I think had Pepe kind of played with a little more oomph, I think we'd be obviously. I think you, Tanner, specifically would not be having this discussion with us. But yeah, I just think I think in that respect, I think it really kind of came down to Odegaard and Pepe just not playing well. But I mean, I think I don't. I mean, you blame Arteta a little bit, but I don't. It's it's whatever. 2 points, clean sheet. 3 points.
I mean, like I said, there are a lot of positives to take away, in my opinion, from this game, despite the overall performance. In my opinion, like I said, if you give me 60 or 70 minutes, of the constant attack and the as you said, Rowan, foot on their throat, and I get 20 to 30 minutes of what I got for the entire second half, I can live with that. So I think it's and like Stan kind of said, they're young, right, Stan? And I think that putting sort of switching everything over, instead of getting 20 or 30, now we get 60 or 70. That's going to take some time, I think. But I will say that this run of ours, okay, is there's a lot to like here. There's a lot more positive than there is negative. And I know that a lot of people may think I'm way too negative. I'm just not ready to set off fireworks and do cartwheels and somersaults, which I can't do anyway, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just not ready to crown Mikel Arteta the savior of Arsenal Football Club. I still need to see. I like the team, and I think we're trending in the right direction. But we just need to. I don't know that we switched off. I just think switching off implies to me that you're making mistakes. I don't think we made any mistakes. I think we just took our foot off the gas. I think we just sat back, and I don't really understand why. That's the only thing. 2 goals in 20 minutes. It's like that's great, but you got a lot of time left to play here, fellas. Keep going.
Here's where I see a little bit of improvement, though. Traditionally, over the last years, seasons, we've been a team that's been relying on one or two players in the squad to be our outlet for goals. Of late, it's probably been Aubameyang, Lacazette if he gets on the pitch, and then after that, you're hoping that Pepe might be able to contribute something. But if you look at the last few games now, we've had goals from a couple of defenders, Gabriel, Callum Chambers. We've had Emil Smith-Rowe weighing in. And apparently what I've heard is as well that one of the things that was said to Emil Smith-Rowe is when you get into the final third, sometimes when you're looking for another pass, why don't you try for a shot? And the stats are showing now that compared to last season, Emil Smith-Rowe is now taking more shots rather than passes, and his goal rates have gone up compared to assists. So what I see there is I feel more relaxed that if one of our sort of reliable people that we look for goals is having an off game, there's still other people that are trying to chip in. We've not had that for quite a while. Defenders coming in, midfielders coming in. We've got goals here and there. Thomas Partey, deep line midfielder, coming with a goal quite recently. So I feel a little bit optimistic that we're not over reliant now in one area.
If we get Bukayo Saka to start finishing some of the chances that he creates for himself,
that will come, I think.
Oh, I believe it'll come.
It's going to come. It has to.
He's
20. It's going to be part of his. It's going to be part of his. It's going to be part of his progression as a player because he's getting in such good positions. It's just a matter of time.
Yep.
You wait and see.
Yep. Boy, and that what everything you just said about Smith Rowe. You get Thomas Partey involved in the goal scoring, right? Even if he contributes, let's say 3 to 7, split the difference. He gives you 5 goals a year. If he could somehow give you 5 goals a year, you get Emil Smith Rowe involved. You've got Aubameyang, putting in the shots that he should bury. Alex Lacazette creating. Maybe he only scores 10, but maybe he assists on 10. Or I don't know if he got an assist on the Smith Rowe goal, simply because of the way the ball just sort of bounced to him. But, the creation with Lacazette, but boy, oh boy, that final piece in terms of finishing and goals, that's Bukayo Saka, man. That's Bukayo Saka. And if he starts finishing, that's where this starts to really take shape. And that's where everything really starts to come together. And all of a sudden now I'm Hannibal from the A team. I love it when a plan comes together. And I don't want to see any more this donut of despair. I don't want to see us dominating possession, but having no clue as to how to get the ball into the box for a prime scoring chance. That's the biggest thing. Like Lone Star said, though, look, where are we after the first 3 games of the season? We were Labor Day weekend, give or take, here in America. So end of August, early September, bottom of the table, no points, no goals.
And Tottenham at the top, aren't they?
What's that? What'd you say?
And Tottenham at the top as well.
And the Scum were at the top. They were riding high, and we were bringing up the rear. And now look how the roles have changed. And I got to tell you, I mean, again, not jumping off a bridge over anything here, but from where we were to where we are, 6th place, we're scoring multiple goals a game. We're keeping clean sheets, playing excellent defense. These young kids are growing together. Last 8 of the League Cup. We're going to get into that in a minute. There really is a lot to be. Stan, you know what? You said you thought I was looking at it very microscopically. I think you're right. I really think I'm not looking at I am looking at this. I just want to see domination week in, week out. That's what I want to see. And I don't think I'm wrong for that. I think we all want to see that.
Oh, of course.
But
the youngest team in the Premier League, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen week in, week out. And that's the thing. You have to accept the inconsistency within the consistency of a 9-game unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
You look at games like Tottenham, West Bromwich Albion, Aston Villa. I picked those three out, and you see what this team is capable of doing performance-wise. You look at a game like Crystal Palace, and what you see there is that even when the going gets tough, we're now seeing a team that's going to try and get there at the end and try and salvage something and not give up the ghost. So it's a while. For me, it's just been a while now since when I see Arsenal going out, I'm beginning to see an actual team and not just 11 people. Some of them might be having a good game and 9 of them might not be. I'm beginning to see a team. They're in it together. If they lose, they're losing together. If they win, they're winning together. And, celebrating that late equaliser, I don't understand the problem there. Relief, man. It's relief. I was relieved. I jumped up. It's relief. I'm really happy with the body language that I'm seeing as well from these new batch of players. Ramsdale looks like he's been there for ages.
Yeah.
He's like he's been there for ages.
I think what we're seeing here is just, I think we're seeing a core of players that look around the dressing room and say, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. This is our thing now. And you just look at all of those players and you say, that's the core. And they're all in on one another. They're all buying in for each other. They want to grow together. And this, I'm really starting to turn myself into like, I might start setting off fireworks here in a minute. But boy, you look at it and you just, they're buying in for each other. Like you said, Stan, you're starting to see a team, not 11 individuals. Yeah. And you look around and these guys are all going to sit there and say, this is the next 5 years, 7 years. This is the next 10 years. What could we be 10 years from now? And these are the building blocks.
And it's trickling down too. I know people don't watch the academy, but we're first place in PL2. We're top of the table. Best young team. So we have the youngest Premier League team. We're doing well, and we're first place, in PL2. Which I don't know. I don't think I'm going to set off fireworks for it, but it's pretty fucking good. Yeah. We're 1 point clear of Man City. We're 7-1-2. It's progress, and I'm excited, and I like what I see. We can win different ways. We can play however we have a. See, it's funny. I still don't really think we have a certain style to our game, but it's like you said, Tanner. We're playing together. We're playing a team. We're playing for each other, and we're starting to grow together. And I'm excited for it. And even if we happen to have a bad game and we drop points, and even if we lose against Watford, I'll be upset. I'll be disappointed. I'm sure we'll rake the team over coals. But I know like we're on a platform, we're on a podcast, and you got to look at the games microscopically a little bit, to have conversations. But as a whole, I'm very excited, and I'm very excited we could do. And I'm actually, and don't get me wrong, I'm not looking past Watford. I'm not saying to 3 points. I could definitely see us dropping 3 points. They again, a struggling Everton team, but I didn't watch the Everton game. I didn't watch the game, but I was playing soccer. I got home, got to go in the shower. I see Everton's up 2-1. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, whatever. Go in the shower, get out, dry off, sit down on the couch, put the game on. It's 5-2 Watford. The fuck just happened? So yes, they're not a great team, but they could, they can get a result. And again, going back to what I said earlier, anything could happen. Crystal Palace took 3 points off Man City. Brighton came back and drew against Liverpool. Anything could happen, but I'm excited as everything as a whole. And again, like I said, I'm not going to pass Watford, but I'm really excited for us to play Liverpool. I really want to see how this team reacts and how these youngsters handle the gravity of the situation and how and who steps up, because it's going to have to happen.
Yeah,
Liverpool are the team right now, or one of the teams.
What I also observed was when those players like came in the summer, obviously, in the beginning of the season, we weren't doing very well. And if you look at the leadership group, players like Aubameyang, Lacazette, you could say Pepe, right? He's 26. Thomas Partey, even because of his age. It wasn't them saying, right, okay, let's galvanise people. We're going to look after the young ones, put our arms around him. If we all work together, this is what we're going to do. Because that the leadership group, a lot of them had faces like slapped asses. It almost seems like some of these new players that we brought in and our younger guys, they're the ones that it's not trickled down, it's trickled up. They've somehow seemed to me that the younger ones have somehow revitalized some of our more senior players. It's almost like some of the senior players are like, fucking hell, these kids are actually up for it.
Yeah.
They're going to start showing us up. We need, there's actually something, you know what I mean? It's not like the older players have got these young, you've got them and say, don't worry, I know we've been going through a shit time, but we're gonna guide you through this. The older players, they looked to me like they'd given up the ghost. They were like, fuck this shit. And now, because some of these the new players that we've signed and some of the younger players are like, fuck it, we're playing anyway. The older players are like, fuck it, we best get on board.
Yeah. The new players that we have signed, all of them, like I had initially said that all of them are squad players. They're not good players, good enough to be in the starting 11. And why we bought them? And the only one who seemed like it was going to be in the starting 11 was Odegaard. And Odegaard is unfortunately the worst performing of the.
I was just gonna say, probably our worst signing looking back now.
May I ask you guys a question? Where you found Odegaard, right? Have you guys? Where are you with Odegaard at the moment? Because I, for one, was really pleased. Will be made him permanent. Are you of the opinion that this is a guy that could be a generational talent? He just happens to be going through a bit of a patch now, or are you of the opinion maybe he's not the player that I thought he was, and he's basically toilet? As your sentiment FC loves Arsenal, hate Cronky says, Odegaard.
I think it's
where are you guys?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think the turnaround for us is, like I said, bringing on Lacazette against Crystal Palace. I think the way we're playing is, very small, quick passing, playing close together, moving up the field together. Odegaard, he didn't really, when he was playing well for us last season, he wasn't really doing that. He was making good turns, making longer passes to Aubameyang, finding space and finding players in like medium range passing. And we're kind of not really doing that. Especially, Lekong and Partey and Gabriel and White kind of are, but they're also further back of the pitch. So I just think I think it's a mix of horses for courses. There's just a lot of games that he's played in the last few games just haven't really suited him. And on top of that, I think he's not, he hasn't adjusted to really kind of what we're doing right now, which to me is like really suiting ESR and Lacazette with the short, quick passing.
And I think it's overall, you need a squad, right? Like our starting 11 is the starting 11, but you're going to need these players. And I trust his quality. I liked what I saw in the 6 months that he was here. I don't think he's another Danny Ceballos, who I also read Arsenal are still monitoring for some.
He'll be back.
No. So that, but where I was also coming to is the 6 signings that we made. But I was reading this article on The Athletic, right, which was basically how we've got really good on corners. Since the Villa game, out of the 7 goals that we've scored, 4 of them have come from corners, right? Either directly or resulted from corners that have gone in, right? And that's more than how many we scored in the entirety of last season from corners, right? And we have a new set piece coach, basically, who's been hired. Jover. Correct. Yeah. So, that seems to be another thing that's going well, right? Like Stan says, generally set piece is a break time.
Time to go for a piss.
Yeah, go for a piss, time to get a beer, get a beer and then go for a piss.
When we have a free kick now, right, and you see Martin Odegaard standing over the ball, are you not in the frame of mind, we could get something here, more confident than you were before, right?
Yeah. Or when corners come in, that you've got aggressive guys like a Partey, like Gabriel, hopefully even Ben White, these guys are going to do something out of it. The issue had been delivery, because before the Palace game, that article said that we'd taken 34 corners and not done anything in that, but that was a combination of poor delivery and us not being able to execute. But they've done a great breakdown, so that's another positive, right? So overall,
Pepe taking corners and not being able to get it to the fucking first post.
Pepe is not being on the pitch, so he's not taking corners and he's
taking
not
a corner and kicking it out of fucking play. What the fuck?
Pepe is like becoming a bigger disappointment with each week. That is the issue, right? Because I really trust that he has the skill, and like you say, Stan, again, Maverick, right? He can be that. He can, like I had said, he could be our Robin with his, silky touch, etc. But did you see this week also he like fell over and like he had like a comical scene in that? It's almost seems like he's never played the game before. And his body weight is like always on his left, and they can take the ball away from him. So, that's a negative, but that's not an Arteta sign, right? Like he doesn't seem like he can be an impact sub. Again, we've got a lot to do. We'll move on to the League Cup, which is a big one. Now, anybody's game. We've been blessed with the most favorable draw that we could ask for. Sunderland at home. I'm not taking that for granted.
We've got?
Yeah. Sunderland.
Yeah. That's what I said I wanted. Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. And we got that, and
lovely.
So, in all probability, it's going to be 4 big boys going ahead, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal. Hopefully we go through. And
Tottenham have West Ham?
Tottenham has West Ham, so West Ham can beat Tottenham.
I was going to say, I think I got West Ham in that game. I don't think Tottenham beat West Ham. But...
I mean, with Conte, maybe there's a bounce. Maybe he knows that there's already an opportunity. In three games, he can win a trophy, right? And that in itself is such a such a motivating factor. But I think now, Arteta, I know, has switched up the squad, and we've done well. We've still won with Eddie, etc., who almost hit the ball wide in an open goal. I don't know how he did that. You're on mute, Stan.
A lot of people have made this comment, and they did it again on DAZN about how Eddie almost like fucked it. But the end of the day is he didn't. Did you know?
Yeah, they harped on that so much. I noticed that too. They harped on it for like 10 minutes.
Is,
like, we get it. He almost missed.
So I'm not berating him for doing that.
I'm not Eddie's. I've never been Eddie's biggest fan, but the first 2 touches where the ball came over and he brought it down, and then his second touch, that's where I thought he's going to fuck it up. He's going to fuck it up. He's not going to be able to control that, and he did, but he got it in. So
correct. So I'm not berating him for that. What I was getting at was that
if Thierry Henry's in the box and the ball comes in and it goes in off his arse cheek, it's still a goal.
Oh yeah, of course. See, the point is not that he did the job. From 1-0 it became 2-0, and we effectively sealed the game, right? So that's great. But what I'm trying to say is that we should, in my opinion, start playing our big boys in this game, because this is worth winning, right? If Arteta has anything to learn from the fact that FA Cup win has bought him so much time, another League Cup win, if he gets it, he's going to like another season and a half.
The fact Eddie starting that game for me anyway was the one thing that I didn't understand, because he's the player that looks like he's got 1 foot out of the door, doesn't want to sign a contract or what have you. Balogun's the one that we fucking, we lifted our skirt up and enticed him to sign a 5-year, and he doesn't get a look in. For me, what you do is you start Balogun, and you have Eddie on the bench. And basically what you're saying to Balogun without having to verbally say is, listen, I'm going with you, but if you can't do what needs to be done, this guy's going to come on. So make sure you don't, make sure that doesn't happen. That's what I would have done, because even if you think Eddie is a higher graded player than Balogun, Balogun's never going to get there if he doesn't get the minutes. He needs the minutes. But I would just say that the focus for me shouldn't be on he almost didn't score. He did score. I want to talk. I don't mind talking about it when he's like fucking, 10 inches out from goal and he puts it wide. Then that's a conversation. It almost didn't go in, but it was a good goal in the end. So,
okay, Stan, the point is that now at this juncture, knowing that we are in the quarterfinals now against Sunderland, and then potentially, 3 games away, because you've got a double leg and then the final, 3 games away from winning silverware, a competition that sets you up for the end of the season, because you don't have to worry about winning a trophy, FA Cup, etc., because you've already won it in February.
Do you stick with a similar team?
Yeah.
Do you stick with a similar kind of lineup that got us there, or do you get to a quarters final, semi-final, and think, fuck it, I've got to bring in the big guns? How do you play that?
Correct. I mean, Leno's fine, but then start like a Lacazette in there. Play some of the big boys. Would you not do that?
I think I was a lot of the fans were kind of like it was kind of, I felt like that League Cup game was like it was split in two. There was half of the fans that were like, fuck it, we're only playing 1 game a week, we can afford to play our best team. Whereas I was in that camp, well, it's more than 11 players. I'd like to see some of our fringe players get the chance. How do you put yourself into somebody's mind if you're not even getting a chance to kick the ball? And there's been so many times in the past where we'd be in a competition, whether it be a European a group game, and we put out our B team, and already going into it, you look at it and you think, I'm not really confident about this. And you watch it, and so be it, we lose 2-1. Whereas I was really pleased that we fielded what I would call a B team. And as scruffy as the game may have been, they actually made a contribution to Arsenal. They've got us through to the next round. But I would agree with you that I'm at the stage now where I wouldn't say, right, fuck it, we're staunchly going to play a B team because whatever, or totally do a U-turn and go, right, let's bring in the first team. I would do exactly what you said, Rohan, sprinkle it a little bit. Some of these fringe players, but have a few players in there that have won a cup, that have won something and can bring you along.
Yeah. Tanner, Ryan?
Ryan, go ahead.
I quickly want to touch on Eddie a little bit and the whole Balogun situation. And thing is, I don't think Balogun's good enough right now. I think he needs a loan. Eddie's playing better, and I think Eddie's actually not playing terrible. I think Eddie's going to be the player for us where he plays in these kind of games. It kind of just carries us over the line to where either Balogun comes back and he's good and he's ready to go, and we're going to use him, or we're going to sign somebody, which I think it's going to be the latter. It's similar to Lacazette. Lacazette. I don't think he's renewing. I think. Well, rumors said that Lacazette's going to reject any contract that comes his way, and he's going to be a free agent this summer. I think Eddie's just in the same boat. I think Eddie and Locke are helping us out. They serve a purpose, and yes, they're not long term. And yes, trust me, Glenn, Stan, I'd rather play Balogun. I want Balogun there. I just don't think he's good enough yet. He needs a loan, and I think you play Eddie. Eddie's playing well. I think it's what's the stat I saw in all cup competitions? He's played 8 games and scored 7 goals for us. So I mean,
if we don't try him, do you know what I mean? Especially when the other one's got one foot out the door, you're never going to know. And if you put him on and it's clear to all that, hold on, this kid isn't ready, then they make the change.
But we did put him on. He played the first 2 games for us, and he didn't play well. He looked very lightweight. He was getting pushed off the ball.
He didn't get very long though, did he?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? There's a little bit of that with Pepe, right? Or players where you want to get into the team and you get 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes you try to show everybody, the manager in the world, your whole repertoire, and it just looks too much, and you end up having a shit game because you've just tried to do. Martinelli's a little bit gets a little bit of that for me. I mean, what's he going to do in 5 minutes?
Well, I mean,
then again, the argument was, and maybe we're going to touch on that as well. He did start that game, didn't he? And I don't know how you guys felt he done, but I know you want to, I didn't mean to steer it away, but
Balogun started in our first game of the season, so he played a big. He came off like a 60th minute, so he played 60 minutes. He played a while, and yes, I get it. Maybe one game isn't enough, but he did not he did not look that well. And I think that's kind of I really do think that that's probably part of the plan for him. I think we kind of knew he wasn't ready, but we know he's going to be a talent. So I think I mean. I don't know what was going on in the background. I wish we'd loaned him out in the summer, but we didn't. Hopefully, we could definitely loan him out in the summer, in the January
where do you think
window.
the best place for him to go would be? In the same league, a league down, or abroad?
Probably a championship. I probably would say championship, or maybe a really good League One team. But I think definitely the championship.
I'm surprised you didn't say Germany. I thought
Say
that
what?
was nailed on. I thought you were going to say the Bundesliga or something. I thought that'd be nailed on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I wouldn't be. I think they need to see. They need to garner the interest from the teams and choose appropriately. And the one thing I will say though is January is a big window for strikers. Going out on loan because teams really look for strikers in January. So, I mean, I hope that's what we do, but I don't. I don't really. And I'm one of the people that really was banging the Eddie drum. Like he needs to go. He's not good enough. He's played better. Is it good enough? No, but we need someone. But we can't play a Aubameyang every game. We just can't. And I mean, maybe you do put Lacazette in instead of Eddie, and you don't put Aubameyang, and that's definitely a choice, and it's something that I would definitely consider. But I don't think Eddie's a bad play because I as someone who really rates Balogun and is not a big Eddie fan, Eddie's playing better than Balogun, and right now Eddie is the better player than Balogun. So we just need to use that to our advantage for the little time we have left.
How old is Eddie now? I can't think.
22, I think.
So do you think there's because sometimes you get players. And they're not bad, but they're not maybe, they're a player that's in your team. You think maybe we should loan them out. But then sometimes you get a late bloomer, right? They get to
he's 22.
Get to maybe 24. And all of a sudden, do you think there's any chance that could happen for Eddie at all?
That he's what?
Do you know what I mean? Do you think it's for any role with Arsenal? Is it going to be, all right, at the moment, I don't think I'll ever see him as our number 9, but could he be a plan B? Do you think? What do you reckon?
For us, no. I think he could get. I think he can play better. I think he can be a backup, even a starter in a lower Premier League team. Problem is, we put all our eggs in Balogun's basket.
Like an Everton, maybe, or
I wouldn't even say that. Maybe like a Norwich, like a newly promoted team. Maybe
that's harsh.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think he's there yet. I think I'm talking about right now. I think right now he can maybe make a low level Premier League team. But he's not going to get anywhere with us. We kind of put our foot in. We kind of drew our line in the sand in the summer, and we gave Balogun a big contract, and we did not give Eddie one, and they have the same agent. So obviously, we could draw our own conclusions from that. We kind of said, "All right, Eddie, like your time here is dwindling. The hourglass is slowly losing sand. You're not going to be here much longer, and it'd be silly of us to extend him. He's not playing that well." To where he could be, like you said, a backup. Because I don't.
Everything that you've just said about what the conversation with Eddie is exactly the reason why I would be in that. I'm just my personality that is of the camp that if that's how it is, then I'm going to give Balogun the minutes because that's the future. And he might be not as good as this other guy, but I don't believe that this other guy will ever, no matter what I put into this guy, there's going to be that return. So. This guy, he's going to have to learn his trade at some point, and maybe he'll go out and loan. But for now, I'll start him in a Carabao Cup against a Leeds. I mean, how else do you fucking? Do you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to I think we want to loan him out, and I think we're already set. We're loaning him out, and I think yes, I agree with what you're saying, but if you look at it from a bigger picture, like we want to win trophies, we can win this trophy. I don't want to throw away winning a trophy just to give Balogun minutes when our plan is already to loan him out in January and give him all the fucking minutes he wants. He's going to play start, play 90 minutes, do all that stuff. So I think you're right with Eddie. And like I said, I'm not an Eddie guy, but Eddie's playing well. He's scoring goals. He's doing, I think he's playing pretty well. So I think we should definitely ride him until we get rid of him. I think, I said the same thing with Lacazette because I agree with you. I think when you look at it as a fan, well, this guy's not here anymore. This guy doesn't want to be here anymore. He's Lacazette. It's not that Lacazette doesn't want to be here anymore, but he's not going to resign. Lacazette is leaving in the summer on free. So fuck him. Get rid of him. Well, no, he's doing us a service. He's obviously still with the team. He's showing passion.
Yeah,
as clearly we all saw in the Villa game,
very professional,
which we will talk about. Showed so much passion and leadership in the Villa game. So, yes, they're leaving, but they have a use for us. I want to win the Carabao Cup. Like, fuck yeah, it's another trophy. Let's win it. It's one less trophy Conte can win. So yeah, let's fucking win this thing.
Yeah, because after Sunderland, it's going to be a 2-leg tie against potentially Chelsea or Liverpool or West Ham / Tottenham, right? Probably any of them over 2 legs is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't go completely first team because in the second game they'll come with their first team and smash us up. So it has to be something in between. But I want to have our big guys there and to get that trophy. That's going to be really great.
The Atlanta Braves are World Series champions.
Oh, it's official?
Yeah. Which countries are playing in the World Series?
It is official. The Atlanta Braves are World Series champions.
Fantastic. Megan is not going to be happy. This is great.
Why?
She's a Met fan. She hates the Braves. I don't like
yeah.
I don't want to get too much into baseball because fuck baseball, but the Mets are now the only team in that division that haven't won a World Series in the 2000s. So it's pretty shit.
Yay! Babe Ruth.
Right, yeah,
that's my English knowledge. Babe Ruth.
Just as far as the League Cup is concerned,
I want the Ashes to win because go Dusty Baker. Sorry.
You look at who's in front of you, and you see Sunderland, who are a League One side, I believe. I don't believe they were promoted to the championship. You look at
battle of documentaries, El Documentario.
Yeah, right. You look at Sunderland Till I Die versus.
Could you imagine if we lose? So on our documentary, it's all doom and gloom where we've lost, and then you can flick over on another Netflix channel, and there's Sunderland Till I Die, and then we'll enjoy for beating Arsenal. Fucking mad,
crazy.
Yeah.
And anyways, they have said no that their manager was running his mouth that I want Arsenal or Spurs, and then we want the away tie with one of the big boys.
Yeah.
Like smash this guy up like some 8-0 or something.
I look at Sunderland and I say Martinelli on the left, Eddie through the middle, Pepe on the right. That should be Odegaard in behind. If that's what we're going to do, El Neni, Maitland-Niles in the midfield. This is the lineup that you play. Leno at the back, of course. This is the lineup that you play because that lineup should get the job done. It's about getting the job done.
It got it done against Leeds. I don't think
maybe fire Pablo Mari in there. He should be able to play.
I would, Pablo Mari.
If he's not good enough to play in that game.
I don't know if I would throw Mari. Mari's been sick. He hasn't even been training with the team.
The game is on the 21st of December.
You can even play as Cedric. These are players that even if they're not in our high graces with Arsenal, some of these fringe players, they should all be able to be competent enough against a League One side.
It's about going through to the semifinal and making sure. And again, we say these players are good enough. They should be able to get the job done. And at the end of the day, it's simply about moving on. It is
survive in advance.
Survive in advance. I love it. I love that you were right there with me, baby. But that's what it is. Survive in advance. Our second team should get this job done. should get that job done. You rest the starting 11, and I think we're seeing now that we have a starting 11, right? We've talked about this for 3 years. We don't even know our starting 11. Mikel Arteta doesn't know his starting 11. He knows it now.
Yeah.
He knows it now. So this is the starting 11. The second 11, barring injury or anything like that, the second 11 should come in and play that Sunderland match. And like you said, Rowan, it's 4 days before Christmas, for crying out loud. So
if Jacques is back, give him a couple minutes.
And look, if Jacques, look, that's actually, Ryan, I know you say that sort of in jest, but no, that's if he's back and ready to play, he plays that game.
Yeah, you give him the weekdays, not the weekends, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree there, but I mean, I also say that you give him that match to get his legs under him, right? There's a good confidence builder, And Lone Star, 8 games in December, one of which is a non-league game. 1, so 7 league games in December. We need it's all hands on deck, and we're going to need that second unit to go out there and do a job for us. So I'm not looking at I just don't put my starting 11, and a few of them will be on the bench. I would probably have Lacazette on the bench for that. If it's not going well for some reason, hopefully I can bring on a much more talented player than what Sunderland have that they just can't deal with, So, but
I think we'll see a couple. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple first teamers sprinkled in, like Rohan said. I don't know if it'll be a lot.
I think we will. And
because we have Leeds that Saturday, which okay, but then we have again. I know anything can happen. It's Premier League. I get it. We have Norwich that Sunday, so
after the League Cup match?
Yeah. So I think we could play a couple.
So there's an opportunity there to mix and match some players here and there, and look, this is why you have a squad, right? This is why you have a full squad of players that hopefully can get a job done for you when called upon. So I don't really have anything to add on the match itself against Leeds because I didn't see it. So
I think I kind of agree with you. I think we play pretty much the same lineup we played against Leeds. The only change I would probably make would be I would take Kolasinac out, and I would put, I hate to say it, I'd probably put Tierney in. Tierney in, and maybe, and then I would put Odegaard at the 10. I think I would do that.
Yeah. So last two, it's been 2 Fridays now. So 2 Fridays ago, we beat Villa 3-1. I am just simply going to say this. I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on this. Quite frankly, I need to go in about probably 5 to 10 minutes. So, and I know Stan, you need to dip out as well here shortly. So, bottom line, everything that I said originally about the Leicester game, 20 minutes of brilliance followed by 70 minutes of less than brilliance. We didn't get that on 2 Fridays ago against Aston Villa. We got 75 to 80 minutes. I dare even say all 90. But that is the most complete game that I have seen this club play, and I couldn't tell you how long. And I'm going back to at least the last 2 or 3 years of the Wenger era. I just have not seen a 90 minutes like the 90 minutes that I saw against Aston Villa 2 Fridays ago. And I'll say this, I was a little worried at the end of the first half. A part of me didn't want that penalty because of exactly what happened on Saturday against Leicester. I was afraid we get that penalty, we go up 2-0 at halftime, we come out and get blitzed in the second half because we've taken our foot off the gas and we're sitting back. And we didn't do that. Thank God. Best 90 minutes I've seen easily in 5 years. Easily the best 90 minutes I've seen in 5 years. That's the kind of consistency that we need. That's the kind of consistency that's going to get us to the levels that we want to get to. So, Stan, I'll turn it over to you for your thoughts on the Aston Villa match. I think just thoughts. We don't need to dissect this. It's been 2 weeks. Go ahead.
I'm really happy with the way that we've been sort of like progressing since the first 3 games of the season, and the Aston Villa game, the Tottenham game, the Villa game, the West Bromwich Albion game. For me, shows you what is a sneak peek of what this team can do, and I think our forward line is going to change at some point, and that's going to be the next stage in this rebuild. Is changing that forward line, but they've given us a sneak peek of what they're capable of. The Watford game, we should be able to bag them, because this isn't the same Watford team that gave us a few problems. It's not the same team. They've gone through a couple of managers, and it's the first time in a long time where I'm saying I'm confident we can just go. I'm not being cautious with this one. I'm getting to the stage where my caution is erring away. We should be able to do something with Watford. They ain't got Troy Deeney anymore, giving us the aggro. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If that's 3 points in the bag, mate, that should be 3 points away. And then we finish nicely. We go into our international break, and we just pray that no one gets injured.
These are the games that we fucking drop, though. I agree with you, Stan, but these is like the perfect game. Like, oh, this is the game in the bag, and I think the players think. I wouldn't be shocked if the players think that way. This is the game in the bag. Go into the international break.
How would you feel? How would it affect you if we lost that game?
I literally just said
the manner of the loss, or would it just be the fact that we lost? Because I think with this team, because of the age, I just think that there's going to be weeks where everybody's not playing in lockstep, and that there's going to be bumps in the road, and there'll be games that there's going to be some more losses for games that we would think, oh, we should have got more out of that game. Do you know what I mean? And it might happen with Watford, and I'm at the stage now where what I've seen, that should we lose to Watford, obviously I'm not going to be happy, but I'm not going to be like, fuck this shit, let's rip it all up. This is bullshit, because I've seen something that I think we're going to see more of it. It's going to come back again. It weren't just a glancing flash. You know what I mean? It's going to come back.
Well, it's like Ryan said. This is the game that in the past we've dropped. You know, this is sort of the trap game. So you want to continue the progress. This is you bury them. We're a better team than they are. You bury them. I'm talking 4-0, 4-1. You hang 4 or 5 on them. That's what you do to Watford. You exert your dominance on them.
That would be delicious.
And you go into the international break, winning 3 on the trot, and we look and with confidence, and we look forward with confidence to coming back after the international break to Liverpool.
I agree with both of you guys said. Problem is well, not problem. But again, I think this is a game we drop, fine, whatever. But if we did, and instead you asked that question, well, how would I feel? I said it like 30 minutes ago. Yeah, I'd be upset, and we would dissect it, and it would be a game that we would all be upset we lost. Like, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have me take my eyes off the prize. I still would be, I don't want to say confident, but I would still be looking at the progress. I'd be looking at the way we're playing. Because let's face it, we have again, I keep saying this because it's a fact. We have the youngest team in the Premier League. We are going to have bumps on the road. We are going to all not play well. It's going to happen. Like, people, I think fans need to like brace themselves, like buckling like you're going on a roller coaster that goes upside down. The youngest team in the Premier League, we're going to have hiccups. It's going to happen. But the progress is there, and I see what we're trying to do now, and I see the players reacting, and they're on board. They want to play. They want to play well. But again, youngest team in the Premier League. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be bumps and scrapes. And, you know, what do they say, like when you're a kid, you know, bruises and scraped knees. It's going to happen. The youngest team in the Premier League, it's just bound to happen. So, yes, I would be upset if we lose to Watford. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be all do me. You know, I wouldn't be trying to throw my TV out the window or anything like that.
I was just looking at Lone Star's stat that they've had 17 managers in 10 years. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they go through managers like crazy.
They're obviously copying the Tottenham model.
In fact, they have their last 5 away wins have come under 5 different managers.
Okay.
And they're playing us away, right? Like we are playing at home. So, I mean, at the beginning of, or rather the end of the first international break, when we were 3-0, lost 0-3, that time we had made a prediction out of the next 8 games, which was Watford will be the 8th game, Premier League game. How many points that should we get? And I had said that out of that 24, I would expect at least, at least 19 points. If we win at Watford, we'll have 20 points, which is great, which is amazing. If we don't, we'll have 17. Right? It's not the end of the world, but we've got a difficult November coming up, right? United, Liverpool, Everton, Newcastle in between, which is supposed to be we've got to pick up these routine wins, and only then will the big wins count, right? Because beating Liverpool, losing to Watford, beating United, losing to Newcastle is the same amount of points at the end of it. So, I know that results are not guaranteed in the Premier League for any club, leave alone the youngest team in the Premier League. But I want to see a performance. I want to see that effort. I don't want to come out and say that, for 80 minutes, like against Aston Villa, we were outplayed, right? We had no response. The changes were too late. We looked lethargic, things like that. I don't want to say that. We should be beating Watford. They've beaten Everton 5-2, I know. But that game was a freak game in which Everton just capitulated in the last 10 minutes. They lost 5-0 to Liverpool before that, the game before that. Ranieri's here. Arsenal, I think, has had a good record against Ranieri. Even in the season where he won the league, we beat him twice. So, all in all, I expect nothing short of 3 points here. Set us up for the next phase of play, which starts with Liverpool again. So 3 points, 20 points on the board, and then we're looking solid.
Yeah. What are you showing here, Ryan? It's blurry.
Youngest. I think what matters is the average age in the starting lineup. Arsenal, Southampton. So where are we? What's that? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have the top. We have the top 8, and then 9th is Southampton. Then we're 10. So out of the top 10, we have 9 of them. So yeah.
And that's great. It's a results business. At the end of it, it's a results business. So we need to get the result.
Yeah. Right? No, I agree. I'm not going to be shitting rainbows when we lose to Watford. I'll be upset. And they're actually probably the oldest team in the Premier League. So don't get me wrong. But I mean, again, it's just personally, I'm starting to look at the bigger picture, and I'm starting to see.
At the end of the day, you beat you. Number one, you can only beat who's put in front of you. Number one. Number two, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and especially the teams you're supposed to beat at home. We should be beating Watford at home. And we're 100%. A better team. You 100%. Drop that game, you always look at the performance. Do they win a 1-0 game where they got a ridiculous penalty and every call goes against us? Well, okay, you say, well, we should have beat them because look at everything that went against us, So you look at the manner of the loss, you look at the performance, but you got to beat Watford. Like you have to overcome any obstacles, anything negative. You've got to overcome it. You've got to beat Watford. End of. That's the final. That's going to be the final say because I need to go. I need to end the show there. Everyone in the chat, Ray Anderson just poking his head in at the very end to say good night. Stan, I know it's usually your thing. I'm just going to overall, everyone in the chat, thank you guys all very much for being out there. We were up to just about 30 of you in the live chat at one point, so we thank you all for that. Again, just want to shout out Glenn. Hope he's doing well. Hopefully he's back next week with us. Take care, buddy. We all love you here. So Yeah, it's been good footy talk. Good to be back, and we covered a lot tonight. So,
can I just put in a quick plug? If anybody's going to be around on Thursday evening, I'm going to be sitting in the chair for Ray over an Arsenal fan circle as he's on holiday. So if you're about Thursday around about 5:40 PST time, which is my time, come by. See what we're talking about.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Definitely, everybody check that out. Make sure you do that. So that's it for us. We'll be back next Tuesday, hopefully talking about the Arsenal beating Watford, moving into the international break with 3 straight dubs on the trot, and looking ahead to Liverpool and getting a real stiff test. So that's all we got for you tonight, guys. It's been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.